before? Yes, yes and no's.
Yes.
Couple years. Okay, great. Very environmentally sustainable. So although we see lots of glitz and glamour, and this is full of really high-end luxury brands, it is a really sustainable neighborhood, and it's actually the first and so far the only neighborhood in the entire world to be entirely credited to be a gold LEED or lead status. LEED, right? Yes. So you guys are familiar with LEED? Yes. And LEED has a rating system. You can be just LEED status, you can be silver, you can be gold, you can be platinum, and it's usually you're rating it upon one building. But in this neighborhood, every single building has reached gold status for its LEED rating. So really incredible that they were able to do that, that they put in the work to do that, that they made it intentional to do that, and I really admire that. So that's one thing that I love about this neighborhood. I think it's really, really cool. As we walk, that one was this piece right here. I can't remember the name of the artist. We'll see her in a bit, the nameplate. But it's meant to be a sort of not a memorial, an homage to the South African tribe, the Ndebele tribe. We'll see that in a little bit later. But it's supposed to look like ornamental jewelry from a South African tribe. So it's really cool, and we'll see different art pieces like that all throughout, not just the hanging globes, all throughout the design district. So artwork is really important here, art is really important here, and that's what we're mostly going to be talking about on this tour. So surprisingly, we won't be talking too much about the luxury brands that we see all around. So we're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough. We're just going to walk through right here, down these arches, come back this way, and then we're going to go see the first winner of the Design Miami competition that was in 2008. Hopefully you know this artist, but it's really, really such an amazing piece. So let's do a little walkthrough, and then we'll see Elastica and the little follow me. This neighborhood was a pineapple plantation, but the owners of the pineapple plantation at one point built these buildings right here. This was a furniture showroom to my right. It's called the Moore Furniture Building, and it's said to have been one of the first furniture showrooms in the U.S. And then this was the old post office that they used to have in this neighborhood. Now, in this old furniture building, they've completely renovated it, and they actually reopened it back up about 4 or 5 months ago, very recently. But they've kept the artwork that Zaha Hadid created inside of this building. And she was the very first winner of the Design Miami competition.
Protected.
Running water with all these different kinds of things. They made 3 prototypes, one small, one medium, one large. This is the largest of the prototypes. Fred Robin actually owns the largest prototype. This is not the actual one though. He did want to put the actual one, but his insurance company did not allow that. So this is a prototype of the prototype. So that's Eyes Fly Dome by Buckminster Fuller. And then we see more of Nicole's piece right over there in the middle. And then I would love to take you guys around here, but we have other art to see and we've got food to eat. So let's continue down this way. Also, did you guys see the little sort of play area that we passed by? So that was another piece of Design Miami, but that one has remained a permanent structure for the last 5 or 6 years. So sometimes they do keep artwork here a little bit longer than just the year. All right, is sort of reminding us that the plastic pollution problem is not something that we can do by ourselves. It's the red Solo cup is a representation of that, but we really need to overcome this issue together and stop using plastic altogether. If not, it'll just continue to perpetuate. So that's one of them. We're not really able to see it right now, but this parking garage is also a really interesting piece. If we were to go on the other side, maybe I'll ask the bus driver to drive that way, but we might not be able to. But this parking garage, when it was commissioned to be designed, the architect decided to split the design into 4 different pieces and then give each piece to a different architectural firm. He didn't tell each firm anything. He didn't want them to communicate with each other, and it was just supposed to be a conglomeration of a lot of different styles. And he took this French game called Exquisite Cadaver. So you can kind of tell what the game is all about from just the name. It's supposed to just be like a Frankenstein of artwork, and that's exactly what it is. So hopefully we'll be able to see it when we drive by. But for now, you guys ready to eat?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, all right, let's go.
अमेरिकामध्ये मयामी इति स्थाने फ्लोरिडा राज्ये डिज़ैन् डिस्ट्रिक्ट् इति स्थाने अस्मि इदानीं ततः दृश्यानि एव इदानीं वयं पश्यामः.
Basel is a show that started in Basel, Switzerland. Started in the 1970s and it was held there for 30 years. And then towards the end of the 90s, they were trying to find a way to expand their show. Of course, you want to scale, you want to grow your business. So they decided, let's take it international. Now, the weird part of it all was the fact that they chose Miami to be the first international host city because this was, 1999. What does Miami have to do with arts and culture? We had really no arts and culture here at all. As you guys know, our reputation was not very good. So why did they decide to choose us? Well, it was just as simple as the fact that we have 5 airports here in Miami in the South Florida region, 2 of them international, Miami International and Fort Lauderdale International, and then we have 3 private airports. So that gives us great connectivity. It was the connectivity that really sold them to choosing us as the international host city. Wait, keep on straight, keep on straight. Never mind, we're not going to get to see it. All right, well, you guys will have to come back to the design district one of these days, all right? So, the fact that we have this connectivity, it was the really big selling point for us. We're not only connected to Europe, which it's a European show, so they of course want to be connected to wherever the international show is going to be. We're also well connected to the rest of the United States, to the rest of North America, and then we're also very well connected to South America. And they wanted to have more representation from that part of the globe. So that was literally the only reason they decided to choose us, because we had no art scene at all. But once they chose us, or one of the reasons, or we basically promised them that we would create an art scene if they did decide to choose us. And that's essentially where Wynwood came about and where the design district also came about as well. These two are, I like to call them twin sisters, but this is the rich twin sister. Now we're gonna go to the not so rich twin sister. Not that Wynwood is, not, but you'll see it's not as
We just left Cinderella and we're gonna go see the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Wynwood is pretty cool, don't worry. So these 2 neighborhoods were created in response to us hosting Art Basel in 2002. We also built some of our premier cultural institutions after 2002. So when you guys are heading back to Brickell, you're going to look for the 1000 Museum by Zaha Hadid. Also look for the Adrian Arch Center, which is our performing arts center. That one was built in 2006, the oldest of our cultural institutions. Like completely brand new buildings. And you're also going to see a lot of construction in Wynwood as well. This was not a residential area at all, not even 5 years ago. And you're going to start to see lots of residential buildings as we near the neighborhood. All right, so we're here on 29th Street. This is the northern boundary of Wynwood, where we're turning right here. So Wynwood is to our left. It's an interesting little bike. Cool. So this is all Wynwood over here. That street we were just on is the eastern boundary, and then the I-95 is the western boundary. All right, so yeah, we'll be in the Wynwood walls in just a bit. I'm going to be gone, so thank you guys so much for being here with me today, and thank you. I love cloud. Ryan is going to be your next tour guide. He is a local artist, so you're going to get an amazing tour. He's so fun, so great. So you're going to get a tour inside of the Wynwood walls, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your time here in Miami. I hope you guys come back. Songs work just for pleasure and for fun, so I really hope you guys do come back and get to explore a little bit more of Miami. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. So
Thank you.
thank you.
और क्या
ये विंडवर्ड वॉल्स ये है ना यहाँ पे ये वॉल्स
Oh yeah, let's talk about
दीवारों पे है ना पेंटिंग करी हुई
मस्त बनाए
बहुत अच्छा बना है करते हैं ना स्वच्छता अभियान हाँ अरे बॉम्बे में भी करते हैं पूरे थाने में तो पेंट करके रखते हैं
हाँ थाने में क्या करते हैं
Okay, just seeing if you're looking alive. My name is Ryan. Like I said, you can call me Wheelie, WB, Mr. Barrow, if you will. But I'm a local artist here in Miami. I've been doing my art in this neighborhood for as long as Art Basel has been coming to South Beach. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Art Basel. Okay, quite a few. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Wynwood before. Have you ever been here during the week of Art Basel? Okay, well, it is the time to plan your holiday because this neighborhood literally is the Wild West of urban art. When we go adventure through the neighborhood, we'll see some of the best and the worst of the worst. But where we're standing now, this is an anomaly. The Wynwood Walls is one of the most incredible open-air museums in the planet. And it didn't happen by accident. They've been doing graffiti and vandalism on these warehouses as far back as the 1980s, when New Yorkers started moving down from the city and started painting on the windowless warehouses that used to be a garment and textile industry. Go back over a century ago, Wynwood was a thriving garment and textile manufacturing district. But over the years, you've seen them literally flip the script. What used to bring your property value down, like vandalism, is kind of now the key ingredient to bringing it up. But it's all an approach. In fact, the Wynwood Walls was a vision of a developer from New York, a fellow named Mr. Tony Goldman. Tony, actually, they dedicated Northwest 2nd Avenue to him because Tony Goldman was one of the most visionary developers on the East Coast, and he started his career in Soho, in New York, back in the 70s. In the 80s, he brought this vitality to South Beach that you didn't think was possible. And he turned what they called Heaven's Waiting Room into the Riviera of North America. I mean, Goldman was a visionary, placemaker. I would have referred to him as a real estate artist. Tony had a philosophy that if you feed the neighborhood will feed you. I live by that philosophy. That's why I started doing these tours. I've been doing these tours for 11 years now. And for me to turn my passion into my day job, kind of attests to what we're seeing take place in this arts district. Because it's really opening up people's eyes on how you view graffiti, street art, urban art, mural art, public art, vandalism, urban interventionism, art advertisements. I mean, half the time you can't tell if they're doing it illegally in broad daylight or getting commissioned by a corporate brand. I mean, like I said, this neighborhood is the Wild West. And I never take for granted wall, go against the grain, and just have the world know you exist. But graffiti was actually described as what you can call style writing, to write your name with style. Now, believe it or not, these are letters. So put your graffiti goggles on because I want to help decipher these so you can see the artist from New Zealand who painted it in December. He goes by the name Askew1. Check it out. Sorry about that. Hold on the spot. So here you have the A, a little italic A. Here you have the S. Here you have the K.
Latest cultural performances, art classes,
Here you have the E.
exhibitions, and more. Please enjoy
And here you
visit,
have
and
the
always
W.
remember to tag @Wynwood Walls Official
Askew
and the artist in your social media
and
selfies.
Askew1. Do you see it? See, it's like once you see it, you see it. And to be honest, I could tell this was a skew style before I even read the letters. You know, style writing is how you write your name with style, whether into art. Now, his signature is camouflaged in the mural all the way on the top corner. It's actually going sideways. D-A-N-K. Dan K. Dan's incredible. Using only spray paint, all freehand. He did the perspective from this Mona Lisa-esque portrait in the middle, looking at you from every direction, and all points lead straight to her. Honestly, this is probably the most photographed mural in the rain, because not a lot of people are out here, and with the reflection from the rain, it blends right in. Made with low pressure. It's not like all Rust-Oleum and Krylon and the hardware paints. In fact, they make spray specifically for the outdoor arts. The low pressure is the most common. The old school trick, you would have put them in an ice chest. Ice it down. That's when you put on a neon vest and a hard hat, sneak backstage, and yeah, you look like you're supposed to belong. But Shock One has been traveling the world, painting these beautiful graphic X-rays. He's literally become a professional adventure painter. Now, in the distance, we can actually see another shining example of one of the best uses of can control in the world. The portrait on this apartment across the street. I mean, that's not part of the Wynwood walls, but yo, that's part of the Wynwood walls. No matter what photograph you take, it gets caught up in the background. And it's painted by an artist from Los Angeles named L. Mac, M-A-C. Mac Arte on Instagram. L. Mac has a Photoshop filter in his hand. There's literally no one else in the world that can spray portraits with his style. There is probably one of the most inspiring of that book, Subway Art. Because even back in the 80s, rather than developing letters with spray, he started creating letters three-dimensionally using metal and wood and all kinds of different mediums. But yeah, these ones, some of his best work to date. Another really interesting sculpture that's incredibly simple and a lot of times overlooked are these rocks. These were carved out by the Japanese designer Ken Hiratsuka, aka One Line Ken. That's where you can find him on Instagram. Also known as Ken Rock, which is always a b-boy term. Back in the 80s, the Rocksteady crew was a b-boy crew, and so to rock it was just a way to describe. But Ken Rock, that's pretty funny. I love Ken. He's been doing these designs since the 80s. Very similar in line work, like artists like Keith Haring, who he was friends with. I guarantee you're never going to see a chiseled portrait in a wall anywhere in the world and not think of this artist. Vils, to me, he captures this beauty in the decay. Like, the thing about graffiti, really good graffiti, if it's good, it'll live. It'll live until the paint peels off the wall. Because there's respect. Vils, he takes portraits of people that he's met throughout his global travels. The guy is literally a professional adventure painter. Now, he did use spray paint for these portraits at first with projectors, spraying up these graphic portraits. Then him and his 12 assistants get up on some ladders and start chiseling away hammers and hand chisels. After chiseling it, it took almost 2 weeks to do, to be honest. But it is epic. Honestly, these guys, they did not have a lot of fun either, because it's a lot of work. You know, spray painting, it's easy. You just push a button.
Yeah, this is
Now,
tough.
doing it well,
Yeah.
therein lies the challenge.
But
But this, you know, I could have done this. Oh yeah, but you didn't. And that's modern art.
मयामी मध्ये विन्वुड्स् इति स्थाने अस्ति अहं मम सह कार्यकर्तृभिः सह ग्रफिटि आर्ट् इति विशिष्ट कलापद्धतिः अस्ति तस्य विवरणम् इदानीम् अहं श्रुतवान् एव एतादृशं तत्र आर्ट् ग्यालरी अस्ति तत्र इदानीम् अस्मि अहं एषः इदानीम् अहं दर्शितवान् सः इदानीं पूर्णं सर्वम् अस्माकं कृते सः सम्यक् रीत्या सर्वं विवरणं कृतवान्